if you are watching right now, this is the replay. We are no longer live, but welcome. It is the first day back since moving from Hawaii to Virginia, and I'm so excited. I am filming this live on TikTok, so I'm just gonna wait for my TikTok friends to jump on, and then we're gonna get started. I'm making a Big B, but I'm doing a quilted style. I made one yesterday and I am in love with it. Hi you guys. Hello. Happy Monday. I feel like as soon as I go live it gets super hot in here. Hey, hi Bluebell, I'm good. Hey Anna, I think I missed somebody. Crazy Twisted Designs, hello. Hey Carla, long time no see. I know, right? So happy to be back. I came live I think like once or twice to unpack some stuff in my new sewing room, and then I did like a really quick cooking live. That was fun, but now we're back in business. Hey Latoya. All right, I'm just prepping my straps, waiting for everybody to get in. Did I get my Juki fix? So there's a bar that runs through the entire top of it, and the edge where my hand wheel was, it got, oh shucks. I got a phone call. I'm just gonna have to call him back. My husband's car is in the shop, so he's using mine right now, and that was the shop. So anyways, the hand wheel got banged and it adjusted the entire bar going through the top of the sewing machine. So I found a person and he fixed it. There's a little rattling while I'm sewing, especially if I'm sewing really fast, so I have to take it back to him. So it's fixed enough for me to sew, but it's still broken. So yes and no. I feel like I can never give a straight answer. Hey, Just Mammy! How are you? So today we're making this Quilted Big B. Not this particular one. I actually quilted together some different prints. This one is sold. I made this yesterday and it sold like right away. And I really love the quilted look. Let me grab it really quick so I can show you. Have you been gone? Yes. I've been in the process of moving over the last couple of months. You made me want to try out sew and do it. Hey Shelly. Hi. Hey Molly. So this bag is quilted. These are 4x4 inch blocks. There is vinyl on the bottom, vinyl on the straps, and then the interior top band is vinyl. The zipper panel is vinyl. I did a dual slip pocket, and there's vinyl on the top of that, but the rest of this is cotton, the inside pocket. It's just so I mean, it's perfect for spring, and I know we're not in spring right now, but it's such a cute bag. Hi, Gina. I'm thinking, man, she's really up early. I know, it's noon. So we're gonna make another bag like this. It's quilted, but there's different prints. But I love it so much. And it's got 2 layers of fusible fleece on each side, so it's got a lot of structure. Hi, Francis. Hope you're enjoying your new space. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Okay, so I just prepped my, let me show you guys the new prints that I'm using. All right, so we obviously have a dark navy blue. I know it looks black, but it's navy blue for the coordinating vinyl. Red zipper for the pocket. This polka dot print for the interior, and then here is the outside. Oh my, no, I switched time. I'm in California. Oh no, I'm sorry. I know I can't make it work for everybody. I apologize. I know though for you, when I was in Hawaii, the time was probably a little bit better. Hi, Lisa. Hey, Brenda. I watched all of your videos. Thanks. All right, so here is the print. Let me make sure it's right side up that I'm doing today. So I went ahead and pieced these together. Again, they are 4x4 blocks. Now the blocks look smaller. These are also 4x4 on this bag, but my seam allowance here, I believe it was a 1/4 inch seam allowance. My seam allowance for these are 1/2 inch. So the blocks look smaller, obviously, because we're sewing away a lot of the material because we have a larger seam allowance. So what I personally did is I cut out a bunch of blocks. I just placed them on my table however I wanted them to go. I sewed each row individually. So I sewed this block to this block to this block and so forth. So that's one row. And then separately I sewed this block to this block to this, on and on and on. And then I sewed this row to this row, and then this row to this row to this row. And then what I did, it was way bigger. It was probably about 3 inches wider and about 1 inch taller than what the final product is. What I did is I pieced together this fusible fleece. This is 2 layers of fusible fleece that I just laid right side up. I put this down on top of it. I stuck an iron. I started in the center and then I ironed out so that way everything is nice and straight, and then I cut the pattern to size. And then what I did is I stitched down, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, I stitched down each row and each column to give it, you can probably see it better here, to give it the quilted look. That one's pieced together. This one was 2 full pieces of fusible fleece. And that's how I got these really pretty panels. Okay. This with a traditional like necessary clutch wallet would be so pretty. So this is what we're making today. This is the outside. Inside is this red and white polka dot. And then we have this dark navy vinyl for the straps, the bottom, the connectors, and the inside. It's only 6 hours between us. Okay. I think I missed a couple of comments. Hi, Tina. You're still going to post to YouTube. Absolutely. Thanks, Bluebell. Hey, Arlene. Okay, I think I'm caught up. All right, let's do it. So most of the stuff on the back I'm going to make here. I am going to have to switch. This is my new sewing machine. It is a DDL 5550-6. I'm going to have to switch over here for like 1 or 2 things. But let's go ahead and sew our shoulder straps. What have you guys been up to? It has literally been forever. I'm waiting for things to kind of calm down. There's a lot of stuff that I have to do over the next couple of weeks to get an actual schedule going. So that way you know I'll be live this day, this time, every week. Hi, Dara. My mom's good. She's actually coming to visit the beginning of October. And then we're going to go to her house for Thanksgiving. Are you so happy to be sewing again? Yes, I am. So happy. All right. So we got a 1/2 inch double-sided tape right down the center. Let me grab a couple of clips. What was wrong with you, Juki? So you see this hand wheel right here on this end? You can kind of hand turn it. When I moved, something smacked the side of it, and there's a bar that goes all along the top of that from the hand wheel all the way through to make these things turn. And what happened is when it banged up against it, it adjusted everything up there, and so I wasn't able to sew for a little while. So the guy at the sewing machine place, he fixed it so that I can sew. There's still a little bit of rattling, so there's something that's still a little bit off, so I have to take it back to him. But I told him, like, I probably won't be coming anytime soon because I need to work. I need to work. And he is, like, so amazing that he's got, like, he's so busy all the time. I think he said he had, like, 30 sewing machines. It is awful. But, I mean, the good news is that I can still sew with it. And he didn't even charge me when he fixed it. He's like the sweetest person. If you live in Northern Virginia or even like the DMV area, his shop is Berger's Sewing. I could not recommend him enough. Yes, exactly. At least he's got me going for now. All right. So we've got it folded down, which is going to give us a nice clean. I didn't get my light. I'm going to do it for my next time. So we have a nice clean edge on the short side. How's Virginia treating me? It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I think just like with everything, there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. So it's okay. It's not the worst place that I've lived. I will say there's a ton to do here. Like, the football season just started this past week. The FedEx Field, which is for the Redskins, they're literally 30 minutes away from my house. So we can wake up one Sunday morning and just decide to go to a football game and just go. And then Baltimore is like an hour away, so same thing there. We can just wake up one morning and decide to go. Now that you're back in the States, when do we get to do a sewing retreat? I have to work for the next couple of months. Well, you know, it's holiday season is coming up, so that's usually my busiest time. So let's look for the beginning of next year, like March time frame. I'm about 45 minutes from DC. You're pretty close. Yeah, I know. So fun. So I'm a Giants fan, and they were playing the Redskins at Redskins Landover, Maryland this weekend, yesterday. And so Saturday night, I was looking for tickets, and I found some that were relatively cheap, but they were like really good seats. And we almost made it. My husband didn't want to go. And now you get to watch the games at normal time, right? It's so crazy. How long will you live here? This is a 3-year assignment. Any more letters from the neighbor? It's funny that you ask. We did get one. So I only check my mail like maybe once a week, sometimes twice a week. And yesterday, even though it was Sunday, I checked it because I hadn't checked it all week. And yes, we did get another letter yesterday. And the crazy thing is that I found out who it was. I can come up when they play the Cowboys, absolutely. So 3 years, and yep, we'll be moving again in 3 years. This is not our forever home. Hey, Katrina. Letter from New Orleans. Oh, so if you missed it, my last live where I was cooking, I talked a little bit about this. We got an anonymous letter from one of our neighbors, and it was nasty. You hear that? You hear that knocking? It's not supposed to sound like that. So that's what needs to be fixed. Anyways, yeah, we got an anonymous letter from one of our neighbors. She was mad with the moving company. She was mad. She was just mad. Oh yeah, Redskins, sorry. Commanders. I've been watching football for more than 20 years, and for at least 15 of those years, they've been called the Redskins, so. But you're right, the Commanders. I know, it's already so frustrating moving. Like, that's a really stressful event in life, and for her to just be so nasty, It was just uncalled for. Is that your bobbin casing? No, there's a bar that runs through the entire top of this machine, just like this one. It runs through the entire top of this machine. There's something loose in there. It happened during the move. So I can still sew with it, but it's not like 100% fixed. Hi, Deborah. Just kidding. My husband's team is... It's not timing, no. It's not a timing issue. There's just something loose in the... So what he did is he actually took the hand wheel off. He made some adjustments and then he put it back on. I watched him do it. So it's not timing. It's something in the arm case. I can't remember what the actual like official name of that part is. But he just needs to open it up, adjust a couple of things, and then put it back on. Hey, Just Mammy, can you just keep an eye out in the chat? It looks like I'm getting a little bit of spam. All right. Second shoulder strap. It's so quiet down here. Like, you guys remember in my old house, you would hear like the birds chirping outside. I'm in the basement. And even though we have a walkout basement, so like my backyard, I'm actually looking at it, it's just so quiet. What are you making today? We are doing a quilted Big B. We had so many things destroyed during the move. Today we had our bed frame delivered. I had to buy a new one because that one got broken during the move. But it's all coming back together little by little. That thing kills me. Yes, it is expensive. Okay, shoulder straps all done. Now let's see, what are we gonna do? So you guys know how I normally do like my sewing, like my zippered pockets and my slip pockets offline. That was because I had a different sewing machine that I used because this one is too heavy duty. I'm now using this one instead of my other Juki. So I'm gonna switch over there really quick and sew this up. This is gonna be the slip pocket. Hi Becca, I haven't seen you in so long. I know, I've been moving. So much better now though. I'm back on the East Coast. I no longer have carpet on my floor. I can slide around in my chair. Life's great. Are you still there, Just Mammy? Sorry, I'm getting some spam. Hi, Carvel. Okay, so this is just folded. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be my slip pocket. I'm going to sew up across to about right here, and then I'm going to leave a gap. I'm going to sew across here and down, and then we're going to turn it right side out through that hole that we let. Thanks, Just Mammy. No carpet in it. I know, the lottery. I love it. All right, sorry, I'm turning my back to you. Let me just get it set up. has an automated thread cutter, which I am obsessed with. All right. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's a little gap that I left in between those stitches. I'm going to cut my excess material in the corner. That way when I turn it right side out, it's not bulky. I look well rested, thanks. Being able to swivel between, yes, I know, I love it. How come you're using both machines? So this is just 2 layers of cotton, and this machine is too heavy duty for this, so it would shred this material up if I just sewed because of the lack of thickness. So this machine right here is for lightweight material. Hi, Ellie. Oh. Gosh, I said I would never forget that. This will be on YouTube, yes. All right, you guys know I have my trusty, dusty screwdriver to poke out my corners, get everything nice and crisp. And then I'm going to just hit this with the iron just to flatten it out. My first time here, welcome. Hey, how are you? Hey, Christy, I'm good. Do I miss Hawaii? I miss the weather. I woke up this morning and it was like in the 60s outside. I thought I was going to freeze to death. That's why I'm in a sweater right now. I did. I'm in Virginia. Thanks, Sheila. All right, I'm just gonna hit this with my iron. I didn't sew close the top, which I guess I can. So now I have 4 layers of fabric with them folded. So I'm just gonna do a stitch down the top just to close that opening. I am making a quilted Big B. Why did you move? My husband is military, so our assignment was up. Now this is going to be the accent piece. There's a line down the center and then double-sided tape on each side. That tape's going to hold this in place while I sew it on. It's been getting down in the 40s. Oh my gosh, that's freezing. You got your Juki fixed already? Kinda. Kinda. It needs to go back to the shop, but I can sew with it right now. And that's good enough for me. Not sewing for the last 2 months. I was like, I'll take what I can get. Okay. So the tape's just holding that in place. I'm going to do a row of stitching on the top, and then I'm going to do a row of stitching right along the bottom. We're in the 80s today. Oh my gosh, 100 degrees. I don't know if I could do that again. You know, my husband wants to retire in Texas. It just gets so hot. You hear that knocking? That's what's wrong with my sewing machine. All right, so I just did a row of stitching on the top and on the bottom. And then I'm going to trim off the excess. The cost of living is much cheaper. It's still expensive though. Like what we pay for rent in this house is like $100 maybe, less than what we paid in Hawaii. So it's still pretty expensive. DFW doesn't usually get as hot. Yeah, because it's more north. I just seen a big spider. Don't tell me. I moved to Texas for 2 years, didn't like it, came back to Georgia. Now, I love Texas. I really do. I visited Dallas a couple of times. We lived in Austin. I wasn't really a fan of Austin. It was okay. But if we move back, which we probably, I mean, we will, it's gonna be Dallas, Fort Worth. Try living in California. No, thank you. No, thank you. I told my husband there are 2 places that I will absolutely not go, and that is New York and California. I will not live there. I have standards. How do you find the center so soon? The center of what? All right, so I'm just pinning this down, and then I'm going to sew down the short side, the long side, and then back up the short side. And then I'm going to sew another stitch up and down just to kind of section off the pocket. I normally go by my hand for the width. So like if I want to put my hand in this pocket, I'll do at least with my fingers spread out hand width. And then this will be like a either pen pocket or like somewhere for you to put like your lipstick or lip gloss or something like that. Okay. Let's do it. Oh, you know what? I'm sewing over my good pens. Hey Karen, funny thing, I was born in California and now I live in Texas and I miss California. So California is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. So I don't blame you for missing it. I visited California quite a few times. It actually reminds me a lot of Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii is obviously a little bit nicer, only just because it's secluded. But you got the mountains, the beaches, pretty much anything that you want. All right, now what I'm going to do is make a mark. Let me grab my fabric pen. Is the timing off? No, it's not the timing. There's something wrong with the shaft. Thanks, Brenda. I've got to go. Bye. All right, so I'm going to use my friction pen to make a mark. That way I know it's nice and straight. Hi, Heidi. And then normally I go up and then I go back down. I think that might be a little bit overkill on this smaller pocket, so I'm just gonna do 1 row of stitching. Starting to get warm in here. When did all this happen, your move? So we moved July, June? July, it had to have been July. And then we got here, no, is it June? I don't know. We got here in August. So yeah, we moved in June. My sewing room is still not put together. Oh no, Brenda. It takes a while. Trust me, if this wasn't my full-time job, I probably wouldn't have the sewing room up as quick as I did. And it still took me a couple of weeks. All right, so here we go. Here's our full-size pocket, which your entire hand can fit in. And then this is a good size for like an ink pen or, like I said, a lip gloss, something a little bit smaller. And you can still reach it. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. We're going to work on the zipper pocket for the interior. Where are you? Here we are. All right, let's do the zipper first. Erica! I've been busy using water-soluble marker. Oh yeah, I forgot to get that off. I just used my iron to get off the marker. And because it's friction, all that's left are the stitches. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Oh, are they messy? I am making the Big B. I'm doing a quilted version though. So this was the first quilted one that I did yesterday, and then this is a second one. I'm gonna take this to my other sewing machine. Where did you move to? Alexandria, Virginia. And I'm so happy to be back on the East Coast. This sewing machine is so fast. And like I said, the automatic thread cutter is absolutely everything. I don't even think they make this sewing machine anymore. So if you find it, you would have to find it used. Uh-oh. What did I say? Did the wrong side. That's fine. Okay. So I just sewed the zipper on. I sewed the wrong side, so as you can see. Oh no. The stitches didn't make it. Don't tell me I'm gonna have another sewing machine that needs surgery. Do I like Virginia? Yeah, it's okay. We share the pattern, well, more so the measurements for the quilted bag. Yeah. So I did at the beginning of this video, but I will give it to you again. Give me 1 second. Let me just do the right thing and take out the rest of the stitches. That way I can sew it down the right side of the pocket. I was going to be lazy for a second. So these blocks right here are 4 by 4, and I used a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It's okay, the blocks are a little bit big, but this one that I'm doing now, hold on a second, I'll grab it and show you. The bag that I'm doing right now, I also used 4 by 4 blocks, 4 inch by 4 inch blocks, but I used a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So the blocks are going to be a little bit smaller. All right, so let me grab the bags to show you the difference. Boop, boop. Okay. So this is 4 by 4, 4 inch by 4 inch blocks with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is also 4 inch by 4 inch blocks, but they are a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So you get more blocks the bigger your seam allowance is. So those are the difference. And then when I'm done, obviously I'll sit them side by side to kind of show you the difference also. All right, let me do this the right way. How are your dogs adjusting to the move? They're good. They don't have a yard to run around in anymore, so they don't really like that, but they go on walks, longer walks, because we don't have a yard. I mean, we have a yard, but it's all like rocks and sidewalk. Uh-oh. Hold on, let me check my bobbin. That's what it was, my bobbin. The bobbin on this sewing machine is so much smaller than I'm used to. There we go. There we are. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just press this open with my iron. I know I need to get an ironing mat. Make one. I've been so obsessed with quilting lately. It's crazy. I'm actually going to make, we have a really big and wide couch. It's really deep. And I've looked online to try to find, we have our dogs on the couch sometimes when they're invited. And I just want to keep it a little bit cleaner. So, you know those padded covers they make for couches, specifically for like dogs to lay on to keep it clean? I can't really find one in like the color or pattern that I like. And I can't find one deep enough for my couch. So I think I'm going to quilt and make one. And I've already made a couple of throw pillows for the couch, and I'm pretty sure that I still have some of the flannel that's left over. And so I think I'm going to use that and make just the bottom. So you know how you have the cushions and then you have the back part of the couch? I'm just going to make one to cover the bottom cushions. But matching the throw pillows, I think is going to be so pretty. How did your equipment survive the move? Laura, it did not. I mean, some did, but some did not. The dark side of quilting, I know. I feel like I could quilt everything now. All right, so our zipper pocket has our zipper on here. I'm gonna set that aside. Oh. And then going to grab the other interior panel, lay this down with some double-sided tape, and then sew it on. I know. I'm obsessed with quilting. But I can't just quilt for myself all day or I won't restock any of my inventory. So I figure why not do something that I'm obsessed with right now currently, which is quilting, and put it on a bag so that I can sell it. Which is what I'm doing. All right, double-sided tape. On the back, let me find my ruler. I'm going to center this and then sew it on. Push that tape in. There we go. And then I'm going to sew around the outside of my zipper panel. You've inspired me to start making my own bags. Oh, good. I'm so happy. Another angel gets its wings. I wish I could encourage everybody to sew. It's not easy. I know that. But there's so many things that you can do. If you move a lot like I do, like I normally have to either buy curtains to fit the new windows every time we move, or I can just make them. Or I can buy some from Amazon. Like for example, our bathroom is massive and it has a lot of natural lighting. But in the evening time, the sun sets on that side of the house. So all this light comes in like in the evening time and it gets so hot up there. So I went on Amazon, I bought some blackout curtains and they're 3 individual windows. I bought a set of blackout curtains, I hemmed them, and I used that one set to cover all 3 windows. I used a couple of spring, what are they called? Curtain rods. So it just fits right along the inside of the window, so I don't have to drill any holes to put up the curtains. I can just use tension rods. I can just use those tension rods, cut hem those blackout curtains, and now it's like so dark and it's like 10 degrees cooler. I make all my own curtains too. Tension rods, thanks. Yeah. Sewing, even if it's not like complicated bags, if you just learn basics on sewing, you can do so many things. My husband, he's in the military, so he wears a uniform to work every day, and one of his name tapes, his name that's sewn down on his uniform, it was coming up at the corner, and I was like, just bring it downstairs. Took a couple seconds, tacked it right back on, and he was okay to go to work. Just like there's so many little things and big things that you can do if you learn how to sew. So good. I'm glad that you're sewing. Hey, Michelle. Is your machine not working right? No. It works. It's just, she needs to be serviced. It needs some work. She needs to do some work on herself. Okay. So I just sewed, I know you're not going to be able to see that, right around the outside. I'm going to cut through the center, get rid of the fabric that's inside. What's your feeling about Joanne being gone? I'm sad. I'm so sad. I have no clue what I'm going to do now. I still have a ton of fabric, so I'm not like running out and I have to figure out what to do. I know Michael's took over Joanne, so I'm curious to see when they're going to start, or if they're going to start stocking like Joanne did. Because I don't think my local Michael's has that much fabric. I don't think it, yeah, it doesn't have that much fabric. All moved and settled in. Yes, for the most part. Everything in the house is unpacked and in its rightful place. My sewing studio down here, I would say it's about 95% done. There's like little, and I'll show you guys when I'm done with this bag. I'll walk around and show you guys. It's about 95% done. There's just little things here and there where I have to find their forever home. Hobby Lobby has quite a bit of fabric and vinyl. Yeah. You know, living up here in Northern Virginia, I found a ton of fabric stores close to me. And they have a ton of vinyl, really pretty vinyl, and fabric that I can probably just go and buy. So I might do that. All right, so I cut out the fabric on the inside so that way we can put our zipper pocket in. I'm gonna add some double-sided tape to the inside. That's gonna hold that pocket in place. What ended up being wrong with your machine? So the hand wheel, where is this one? This hand wheel, it got smacked on the side, and there's a bar that runs all along the top of here from the hand wheel all the way over here where the machine works. And that bar was bent in out of place. And so he put it back into place, but there's something still a little bit off about it. It does a lot of banging when I'm sewing. So he's gonna take a look at it whenever I bring it in. So something heavy was put on top of it, or it shifted around during the move. Something hit it. I thought you were in Hawaii. Yeah, it happened during the move. No, I'm in Virginia now. I was in Hawaii. There's a lot of fabric store. Fancy Gap, Virginia. I haven't tried that. The last time I went to Michael's, they were just started. Oh, good. Good to know. I might have to take another trip out there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and center my zipper pocket. That beeping was just my iron going off. Let me make sure. Good there. Good there. There we go. So we have that zipper centered, and that's that opening, and then I'm going to sew along the inside to secure the pocket. Will they replace it? No. So the guy who fixed it didn't charge me for what he did to it, but when I take it back in, he will charge me this next time, which is obviously fair, more than fair, but they will pay whatever it is. So yeah, I'll have to pay for it, but they'll reimburse me. Just like we just bought a new bed because our bed frame broke during the move, and I've already filed a claim to have them reimburse me on that. I was looking around here to see the baby. Oh yeah, no, that was my iron. That was me, sorry. Since the government, yeah. Yeah, it's a claim that I have to file. There was so much stuff that was broken during the move. So I submitted a claim for like the big stuff. I had a KitchenAid mixer that's broken, our bed frame, our TV entertainment stand, a TV got cracked. My computer, the screen got cracked. So I submitted a claim for a lot of the big stuff just so I could go ahead and get that replaced right away. And then like little things like My dress form, that was broken. That was like $100. A lot of like little things were also broken. A lamp. Frames to pictures, stuff like that. Government moved me twice, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we move every couple years and it's always been fine. This has just been the worst one. And it makes sense, right? Because we're moving from Hawaii. Our stuff has to go in crates on a boat. So it's a lot more travel time and distance and things that could potentially happen to our stuff than when we moved from, let's say, Pennsylvania to Texas. Nothing was actually broken in that move. So it's okay. I'm not like physically connected to my stuff. The things that I need to work, I definitely need those fixed, but like I don't have like a, I was frustrated but not like pissed off or anything. All right, we got our zipper pocket attached, and then now what I need to do is sew along the sides to connect these closed. At least you got to get a new mixer. Right. Mine was pink. I had the artesian one and it's pink, and I would probably get the same one again. I love that mixer. Okay, I'm gonna take this over to my other sewing machine and get this sewn down. What bag are you making? I'm making the Big B in a quilted. We moved to Germany, the nervous wrapped up a pen and through my channel. No. The pups are doing good. Is your machine fixed? Kinda. The pups are doing good. They're upstairs right now, hanging out. Let me get rid of these pens. There are two Yorkies next door that torment Butters. She just wants to go over there and play with them. But she doesn't know how to act, so she does not. Okay, so let's just sew up. Get the 7-quart this time with the lift arm. So I have a 9-quart Insta mixer. Is it 9 or 10 quarts? It's a big one. So I use this one for smaller stuff because I like my Insta mixer. It's very similar to the KitchenAid, but it's obviously bigger. But I would hate to, so for example, I don't want to pull out that big mixer if I want to make something small. For example, I make my own brown sugar. So you just put sugar and molasses together, and then I usually whisk it up in my KitchenAid not food processor, mixer bowl, because I think that's 5 or 7 quarts. So it's a lot smaller. I could not see myself making a small batch of brown sugar in that huge 10-quart mixer. So I actually kept both of them. I kept my KitchenAid for smaller things, and then I have my Insta mixer for larger things. No more lizard chasing. I know, she's devastated about that. All right, so our zipper pocket is sewn together and attached. It is the best brown sugar. It's light and fluffy, and it just, in my opinion, tastes so much better. Okay, so now we're going to add our top accent piece to the top of the inside. We're just gonna flip them right sides together, clip them, and then sew. I had cut this piece to be a shoulder strap, which is why there's a line on the inside. I never wound up using it, so it was in my scrap bin. All right, that's one side, and then we're gonna do the same thing to the other. I do my own powdered sugar. I've never tried that. So what do you just put it in a regular sugar in a food processor and just process it until it's powdery? I've heard that's how easy it is, but I've never tried it. I want to. But I use a ton of brown sugar. Like I made, well, I prepped lasagna last night, and in my spaghetti sauce, I add just a little bit of brown sugar. Okay. Hi, Shirley. Yeah, I saw someone do it. I'm like fascinated. And little things like that, I think it's totally worth just taking the time to do it yourself. Me and my sister had this conversation the other day. She is the convenience girl. So if she can buy it, she will. But the flavor things really taste different when you do it yourself. She makes homemade food seasoning. Okay, good. Good to know. I want to do butter too. Butter's super easy from what I see. I say that, but I've never done it before. You're just whipping cream until it solidifies. And you can just put it in your mixer and walk away. Then you have buttermilk and you have butter. That's how I feel. Which one? The convenience or the taste better? Kim. All right, so those are sewn on. Now I'm going to open it up and sew it down. Fresh butter. Hi, Crystal. I'm back. I'm good. How are you? Then use the buttermilk to make some ranch dressing. Yes. Let me make sure my pocket is down. When I made this this bag the other day and I was doing this step, this pocket somehow had like come up this way, and I actually stitched it down when I did this part. I make fresh whipped cream. I do that too. Butter is so expensive. Hey, Crystal. I've missed sewing. I've missed chatting with you guys. It's been so boring these last couple of months. I met a couple people in the neighborhood. Most have been really nice. I was invited to this little like drinks and hors d'oeuvres. They're really fancy out here. Last weekend, I think, and met a couple of people. They were really nice. Did you move back home after Hawaii? I haven't seen you on live. So this is my first time going live sewing, so you haven't missed anything. We moved to Alexandria, Virginia. All right, so I'm just going to find the center of my panel just by folding it in half and adding a little notch. Hi, sweet country living. I'm gonna do the same thing for this side. So where do I buy an industrial sewing machine? There's tons of places. I would check locally. That way you can go and try them out, see which ones you like. They also sell them online. Like I know Juki Junkie, Sewing Gold. There's so many places. Just do a Google search. I've missed you guys too. All right, we're also going to find the center of the bottom because that's what we're going to sew the front and back panels to the bottom next. So I'm just gonna, instead of taking the time to fold and cut, I'm just gonna add a little mark. That's good enough for me and faster. But if you don't have a ruler on your table, obviously, fold it in half and snip away. I do not miss poke. Hey, Tammy, I didn't see you. How are you? I don't miss poke. I bought the purple sugar skull tote from you before you moved. Oh, I love that. I remember because I had that bag for the longest time. You got it in the sale, right? I have an old industrial machine that needs a new oil pan. Just have to find one. You can buy so many parts online nowadays. Really. This little tension knob with the spring, I had to replace that. I got it online. eBay has a ton of replacement parts that you can get for pretty inexpensive. Sewing parts online, I think I've gotten some stuff before. Do I miss Hawaii? Certain parts. What's the model of the new one? It's a DDL. It's right here. I don't know if you can see it. 5550-6, I think. Yeah. 5550-6. They don't sell those brand new anymore, from what I understand. I mean, they don't make it. Let me rephrase. They don't make them anymore. So you might be able to find a new one online, but it hasn't, if nobody's like purchased it. But I wasn't able to find one online because I looked for a brand. I found this one in a local store when I first moved here. So I looked online. I'm okay with paying the extra money to get it brand new. It's kind of like a car. Like, I know nobody's been in the car. Everything's brand new. I couldn't find one online, so that's why I purchased this one used. I actually got a really good deal on it too. Alright, so we've sewn the bottom to the front and back, and then now we're just going to sew the sides together. Danny, how are you? I'm seeing all of my friends and it makes me so happy. Hi, Becky. We felt the same. My face is getting hot. Starting to get a little warm down here. All right, let me sew these together. I'm either gonna have to get a change shirt or turn the air on. So I'm dying. The Juki is back for a limited time. All right, let me go ahead and add my closure. We're doing a magnetic snap closure right in the center of the top. I'm a silent watcher. I absolutely am. Oh, thanks for watching. So Country Quilting. I think I'm sure I've seen your name before. I'm so glad to be back. I'm just grabbing my hardware. That's such a great pattern. Thanks. It comes together so fast. And it's a nice size bag too. I did a custom order. I did this bag in like a medium size, so I had to reconfigure all of the measurements, and I can't find that paper where I wrote it down, so I'm gonna have to just take a couple of minutes and redo it. But this, let me get this puzzle piece. It was about 3 inches shorter and about 2 inches. It was smaller, not as wide, 2 inches. Hello, Rebecca, I missed you. Hi, Stacy. Okay, let's install these. I'm going to mark my center. How did the pups do with the travel? The travel was okay. We were in a hotel for a really long time. We were in a hotel for a couple of months. Like, we were in a hotel in Hawaii, and then we were in a hotel here in Virginia. So it was really cramped. We had like 200 square feet for me, my husband, and our 2 dogs. So they didn't really like that very much. But the flying, that wasn't so bad. All right, so with these 2 pieces clipped together, centered, I'm going to poke through both layers. That way I know when I install it and when I'm done with the bag, the magnetic snap will meet right in the middle, because I'm poking through both at the same time while they're lined up. Did they fly in cabin? Yes, they did. We had 0 foot room because they have to go in the underneath the seat in front of you. So my poor husband, he's 6 foot tall. He had 0 room for his legs. I normally just spread out on my husband when I like lay my legs up in his lap when we fly. It was a long flight too. All right, so the magnetic snap is centered on both sides. And then now I'm just gonna go ahead and close up these bottom sides. Uh-oh, I missed your question, Monica. All I see is hot air balloon. So I was thinking about making a listing on my site where you could customize one of these bags. I could list like a picture of all of the different fabrics that I have, and you can kind of design your own patchwork. Is that something that anybody would be interested in? All right, we sewed the sides, and that's going to give the depth to the bag. And then now what I'm going to go ahead and do is just sew flat these side seams. What material is the bag? So I'm using cotton and vinyl. The outside, the main print, is cotton, like the solid color handle right here. That is the vinyl. Okay. I have to figure out how I can do it. That way you can design your entire bag online and see what it looks like. Any tips for someone just learning to sew? YouTube. Yeah, I'm not classically trained. I learned everything I know off of watching YouTube videos, so I would absolutely recommend doing that. I need a big bag that will hold 2 iPads. This should hold 2 iPads. Can you do like different snapshot pictures? Can you do like different snapshot pictures like that? Oh, you're saying like pictures like in a grid? Yeah, of course. That can be done on cotton, but it can be printed on vinyl. I haven't opened up my custom orders yet for those type of things. So I won't be able to do that now, but because I have the fabric on hand, that's why I'm thinking about offering this on my site. All right, so here's the interior of the bag. We've got the zipper pocket. We have the dual slip pocket. I'm gonna set this aside and we're going to work on the outside. And that really only gets these handles. So see where the handle is? There are handle attachments. Do you still have island fabric? I do. I sure do. That would be a really pretty quilted bag. And I can pretty much use it on any style. I've been doing this Big B because it's such a big panel and it can show off all of the different blocks. But the smaller items, I can do the same technique. Because all that I do is I just piece together the different fabrics. I quilt it. And then like if there was a pattern, like this is obviously tape, but if there was like a bag pattern, all I would do is just trace the bag pattern and then cut it out. So it wouldn't be a symmetrical square. It would just be whatever the style of bag it is. Yes, please. Okay. So where does the name butter bags come from? Butterflies? No. No. I used to make handbags with butter soft leggings material. And because they were butter soft, I called them butter bags. But I no longer use that medium. So hindsight, it was not a good call to name my entire business based off the material I was using at that time. Every time someone asks me, I wish my last name was Butter. That would just be so much easier to explain. All right, so just like the handles, I went ahead and cut my shoulder strap so that way when it is finished, there is a finished edge on the bottom and there's not a raw edge. So I'm going to add some double-sided tape. My doggy is Butters. I could just say it's named after my dog. That would sound kind of weird though. Would it, naming your business after your dog? Yes, but they were a masterpiece. Do you still have yours, Sarah? My mom still has hers. I'm back. Hey, Tammy. I always just thought you named it after your dog. That's hilarious. No, I named my dog after my business, actually. You guys know that I've had this business for, I was looking at my Facebook memories. I've had this business for 11 years. Butters is only like 7 years old. We could come up with a different story every time. That's true. But then I feel so bad because people are like genuinely interested. Like, hey, why is your business Butter Bag? And I don't want them to feel like they're a punchline. I've thought about doing that, but I don't want to make anybody feel bad. People name businesses after their kids. Yeah. I figured butterfly, since your logo looks like one. Kinda. Alright, so to get that finished edge, we first fold up the bottom and then fold in both of the sides. Press it into that tape so it stays put. Just like that. What's that bag behind you? This is called the Big B. I'm gonna put a little piece of double-sided tape down there, put on my hardware, fold it over, press it into the tape, and that is how you make your shoulder strap connectors. I'm going to put another piece of tape on the back. That's going to hold it in place while I'm sewing. But before I do that, I'm just going to do the same thing with the other three. This is quilted, and then like the accents are vinyl. Shoulder straps, shoulder strap connectors, the bottom, and then there are some accent pieces on the inside. Thanks. I made it up over the weekend. It sold last night. And she was going out of town, so I was like, instead of shipping it this morning, can I just hold on, because I'm going to be making another bag Monday and I want to be able to use it to show off. And she was very kind and was like, of course. But she's going out of town anyway, so I've got to hold it for her. Okay, one more. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and sew these on the exterior panels. So my fabric is directional, and the only piece that is actually directional is this one right here with the heart. Everything else, I mean, could be either way, but this little heart right here makes it. All right. So I'm going to measure down from the top. Shipping charges. Oh, so much better. Both shipping and receiving, because I have to pay for items that I buy, right? And so to ship, so for example, my vinyl, I used to pay, I think, $350 just in shipping. So yes, I think that's fair. Yeah. Oh, that looks right. All right, so that tape's gonna just hold that in place until I sew them, but that's where our shoulder strap connectors are gonna be on that side. And then do the same thing here. Did you move from Hawaii? Yes, I am in Alexandria, Virginia now. Question, can I use just cotton material to make like a drawstring backpack? How can I make it durable? Yeah, you can. So interfacing makes your material thicker, gives it more stability and more structure. So for example, this is a type of interfacing. This is called fusible fleece. So it makes this material much thicker and it gives it more structure. There's so many different types of interfacing. I know that there's a really good YouTube. I can't remember of who made it, but if you just type in types of interfacing for bag making, you should be able to find it. And they tell you all of the different types of interfacing, what it's usually used for, and that should help you out. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and sew our shoulder strap connectors. We're almost neighbors. Oh, Delaware, yeah, you're real close. I mean, depending on where in Delaware you are. Much closer than where I was before. Great, thank you. I want to try it. Yeah, of course. One good thing about the sewing community is that most people, like, I don't think I've ever met any sewists that wasn't very friendly. I mean, I'm sure there's some out there because we're all people, right? But the sewing community is usually really good about helping, sharing. All right. So that is the one connector sewn on. My lighting is terrible. There we go. It's a little bit better. About the middle, but uh-oh. Yes, it's cotton with 2 layers of fusible fleece. About the middle. We're Virginia, a lot passing through South Carolina. Welcome home. Thanks, Arlene. How does it feel? I'm so excited. Unfortunately, I have some. Don't like to share information. Well, there's certain things that I don't share just because it's taken me so long to obtain and acquire the information. But I mean, for the most part, I think there's only one thing that I don't share, and that's just where I get my custom printed vinyl. So yeah, you'll get people like that. And I mean, it's understandable because most of us have taken a lot of time and a lot of money to do our own research. So yes, there are certain people like that. But for basic stuff, I don't think I've ever seen anybody be like, no, I won't help you. All right, so those shoulder straps are on. Let's do the same thing here. Hi, Tara. If I was just starting bag making, what type of fabric would you recommend? If you were first starting, I would recommend cotton. It is thinner, it's lighter, it's easier to sew. I started with cotton. And that's really where interfacing comes into play, because the interfacing is going to make your bag stiffer than just like one layer of cotton. Bakers are more secretive. Is that a matching? Yes, it is a matching zip-around wallet. Oh, I don't think I've shown this yet. So I just took 1, 2, 3 rows of blocks, sewed them together, and then I cut the pattern out. How cute is it on the inside? So the bag's sold, the wallet is available if anybody's interested. I'm back. Thanks, guys. All right, one more. There is, I have some sea turtle fabric I really want to do a quilted bag with. I'm probably going to do that next. I mean, I have so much fabric, and I'll show you when I'm done with this. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of tour and show you how I've set up my sewing room. It's definitely not done. Like I said, it's about 95% done. I still have some stuff that I need to find spaces for, but I'll show you guys what my fabric situation looks like. Okay. Very excited to see you back. I'm very excited to be back. All right, so just like before, we're going to find the center of the bottom. I'm just gonna add a little joop. Same thing over here. And then this bottom is vinyl or faux leather. I have a piece of Peltex. I don't know what this is. I think I was cleaning up one of my sewing machines and I think just the oil got on the Peltex, but that's not going to show, so it's no big deal. Going to mark the center. And then I'm going to, let me add my name tape. I'm in a lot of pain, haven't been. Uh-oh. How much vinyl do you order at one time? That cost so much in shipping. I normally buy probably about 40 yards. 40. I haven't, Holly. No, I'm sorry. What kind of fusible fleece? Hold on. Hold on. Let me grab my roll. It's right here. It is Pellon 987F. You want a screenshot? 987 Frank. I had the roll right here, which is why I grabbed it. I couldn't remember. So are you doing cotton with vinyl? Yes. You're welcome. All right, let me find my center between my two handles. There we are. I'm gonna add a couple of marks so I know where to poke through. I'm just using my seam ripper. At the back. I think these are the wrong backs. That happened to me yesterday. I might have to find. I usually have some thicker ones. That was doing it to me yesterday. I think I have the wrong ones. Let's see. Shucks. Hold on a second. Let me see where those are. I have so much hardware I have not found a place for. That's one thing I hate the most about moving is that I can never find what I'm looking for. All right, I'm gonna have to make it work. There's still a couple things that I haven't unpacked, and I know better. I should just take the extra day or two and unpack everything. There we go. How much does the pocketbook start at? So the prices are different. I can't give the prices on live, although flag my account, but they're all listed on my website, which is just butterbags.com. Didn't get used to your glasses yet, no. Okay, so there we go. That's what it looks like. Now let's add the bottom. So I'm going to match up those centers, clip them in place. Do a little magic. And then sew that down. The butter knife is not going anywhere. Hi, Peggy. This is my pattern, yes. Yep, it's available for sale on my website as well. Now, the pattern is not a full panel. Let me show you what it looks like. But you can find it. So this is what the pattern looks like. It has a bottom band on the outside. But to get the size of the panel, all you want to do is sew your band and your front or back, it doesn't matter, your band and one of these pieces together, and then just measure, and that's the full panel size. Or if you can't figure it out, and you've purchased the pattern, just send me an email and I can give you the measurement. But the easiest way is just to sew those two pieces together, and that's the full size panel. Hi, Sherry. No, this is my old machine. This is my new machine. All right, so the bottom is sewn on. I'm gonna open that up so I can do a top stitch. That is what, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you. The top stitch looks like. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the back. Match up the centers, clip them together. What did they say was wrong with your old machine? So there's a bar that goes through this part right here, and it was knocked in during the move. He fixed it, but there's just like a little bit of rattling going on, so he has to just take a look at it again. Have you ever gotten your finger stuck in the machine? No. I would say that that's pretty hard to do. My sewing machine has a little bar in front of my needle, so it doesn't let your finger go, but so far, morbid curiosity. You hear that knocking? That's what's loose. I think I could actually make this one. I would absolutely say that this is one of the easier bag patterns that I make. I would say that really the only thing that's probably the most challenging is your zipper pocket or your slip pocket. But if you just take your time, all of my patterns come with a video tutorial. I'm always just one email away. So if you need any help, I also have a Facebook group where you can ask questions. But yeah, I would say that this is one of the easier bag patterns that I've ever made. All right, we're just top stitching the bottom. Just making sure my seam is laid nice and flat. There we are. Rebecca, this is one of your digital patterns. Yes, I chopped off. Two of my fingertips on one of those. Slicing an onion. Ouch, Laura. You didn't use the hand cover? Back in high school in 1973. Did sew her finger. Ouch. Hey, Susan. Okay, so our bottom is attached. Oh, that's just a little piece of thread. And then now, just like the inside, we're gonna go ahead and sew our sides together. So I'm just gonna clip them and then sew. And this fuse, so even though I'm using cotton on the outside, I'm using 4 layers of fusible fleece. So there's 2 layers on each side. So it definitely gives it a lot of structure. If it was just 2 pieces of cotton, it wouldn't be able to stand up. Once I sew these 2 sides together, it'll stand up on its own. But the fleece definitely gives it a lot of stability. My grandma said the record best will go. Eesh. That is like my nightmare. That's never happened to me. But I can imagine how painful. Now I was cutting fabric with my rotary cutter and I took the tip of my finger off, but it grew back. The way God designed our bodies, they go through a lot and can bounce right back. My goal to never cuss in front of my grandkid. I can imagine. Domestic sewing machine would I be able to use? High-end domestic. So I don't know about high-end, low-end. It's more about the type of fabric that you can sew. So this is different than like this one. This is a heavyweight sewing machine, heavyweight material. That's a lightweight sewing machine. Your needles, your presser feet, a lot of that has to do with it. So I wouldn't know. I would just do like a quick Google search and you should, or ChatGPT search, and you can see whether yours is a heavy duty or a lightweight. This is the first time I've seen you in months. This is the first time I've been on here in months. I just got settled into my new home on the mainland. All right, so we're gonna sew the bottom shut to the side, and then we're gonna do the same thing over here. I know that's a big B, but can you make a smaller version? Yes. Yeah, so you can either print the pattern out at 80%. I don't know if you're asking like if you can do a smaller version or if I can, but yeah, both. I actually said earlier I made one. It was about 3 inches shorter and about 2 inches more narrow on the side, and it was the cutest bag. I actually made it as a custom order for somebody. So see how once it's sewn together, it stands up on its own. It has a lot of structure. Thank you. I'm so excited to be back. So excited to be back on regular people time. All right, I'm gonna open up my side seams. So I'm just sewing open my side seams, because the next step is to put the inside and outside together and sew them together. And when I do, I'm going to be sewing them together at the top, and I want that area as flat as possible. All right, so yesterday when I made that bag, I made it a little bit differently. Normally I'll tuck my lining into my exterior, but I'm going to do it the opposite way. I'm going to tuck my exterior into my interior. I tend to make my interior a touch smaller by making a larger seam allowance. So it doesn't always work, but let's see. I'm gonna open up my zipper pocket. I sewed it shut. don't know what I was thinking. We need this zipper pocket to turn our bag right side out. So let me, I'm going to rip those seams out. Turn my iron on. Those little fabrics out. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this pocket open. That way we have a nice finished edge when we're done and we can just sew it up. So let me grab here. All right. So now we're going to put our exterior into our interior. Our zipper pocket open. If you made a smaller version, Big B Bag, would it be a custom order? Are you looking to have one made? Is that where the question is coming from? I mean, if so, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna first start by matching my sides. The quilting is throwing me off. That's why I had to do another look at it. Yes. Yeah, so typically if I make any adjustments to my current patterns, it would be a custom order. But sometimes I feel a little froggy and I just do different things and I just post them, I make them and then I just post them for sale on my website. So, I mean, I might, on my next bag, make it a different size and post it. But if you want one for sure, yes, it would be a custom order. My custom orders are not open yet. I'm probably going to open them up around the end of this month. That way I can get all those orders done for like the holidays. Alicia, what stabilizer for cotton? The stabilizer that I used was fusible fleece, but there's different stabilizer that you could use. All right, let me grab just a couple more clips. There we go. All right, so now we're going to sew the two together, the inside and the outside, and then we're going to turn it right side out through the zipper pocket that we left open. Make sure everything is nice and lined up. That knocking drives me bananas. So I'm just sewing and turning. Sewing and turning. You guys want to hear something crazy? I got a video recently that has 5 million views and I'm not even sewing. Like, I'm not even doing what I do. All right, so those are sewn together all the way around the top. We're going to turn it right side out through this pocket. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, why can't that many people be interested in sewing? It's okay. I don't really have a preference one way or the other. with turning it right side out. Exactly. All right, I'm gonna get everything straightened out and then tuck that lining in. It's so cute. I think I like the smaller squares. So the blocks on this one is a little bit bigger than this one. I'll set it side by side when I'm done. So remember this vinyl right here, that is the top lining for the inside. So we want to make sure that that's tucked in. I just do like a roll back and forth until I get everything lined up. Isn't it so cute? I haven't set up my picture taking area yet to upload my bags to my website, like my new items to my website. So this is not listed. If you are interested in purchasing it, you can send me an email, info@butterbags.com. What's today, Monday? I should have like a place secure and like start doing photos probably by the end of the week. So if nobody's interested, if I don't get an email from anybody, I'll wind up posting this on the website probably later this week. But if you want first dibs, you can definitely email me. What size squares are you using? 4x4. Have you moved? Yes. We are in Virginia. All right, so first I'm gonna go ahead and sew my zipper pocket shut so I don't forget about that. Not that you guys would let me. How was the move? It was okay. Good days, bad days. We're all moved in now. I'm just tucking that pocket back in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the inside with my iron just to get any wrinkles out. I want to first make sure everything is lined up. So I'll just tuck it in, hit it with a little steam. Roll it around this side, do the same thing. They fixed your machine, kinda. It's fixed well enough to be used, but it's gonna need a little bit more work. All right, there we go. So the last step is just to do a top stitch all the way around, but this kind of gives you an idea of what it would look like. So cute. It's very country chic. Americana. All right, let's do it. And then we just need to attach our shoulder straps. And I go over my side seams because that usually has the most thickness. I just go a little bit slower. I'm going to trim my thread where I started. Make sure my hardware is down. Keep going. All right, I'm coming back to where I started. I'm gonna back stitch to lock those threads. And then I'm just gonna hit those tiny little thread ends with my lighter. I don't know if you can tell, that right there is the top stitching. And then I just need to attach my shoulder straps that we made earlier. Grab some ribbon, my hardware, my press. Okay. So first what I like to do is clip my handles in place to make sure everything is nice and even before I secure them with rivets. So I'm going to take those. So cool how everyone in your chat is catching up. I know. I'm sure you guys missed each other too. I want to make sure it's not twisted when I secure them. I use medium-sized rivets. I don't know what the millimeter is off the top of my head, but I have curated a list of my most used items. I know that the rivets are listed on there. So if you go to my website, butterbags.com, under DIY, I have an Amazon storefront, and I just link everything that I use. And those medium rivets are listed there. All right, so those are clipped in place. I want to make sure my handles nice and even. They are. The back turned out great. Gotta get ready for work. Bye. Have a good day. I'm seeing available bags behind. I know. I'm sorry. This one's not available. So the way that this, I'll show you when I'm done. I'm going to show you guys how I've set up my sewing room. I actually have them all to the left of me. All of my inventory is just to the left of me. So I'll show you what it looks like now. Still a work in progress. Please keep that in mind. No judge. All right, so these are not secured, but that is what the rivets look like. That is going to secure the handles. What type of interfacing did you use? For the exterior, I used 2 layers of fusible fleece on each side. And then on the interior, I used a woven interfacing. Very similar to SF 101. We listen and we don't judge, yes. All right, last one, then I'm gonna go get my press and secure these suckers. All right, let me put this away. This away. Let me get my press. How long will you be in Virginia? Yeah, 3 years. This is a 3-year assignment. Oh, I love this little bag. Oh. Let me set this back. I'm going to turn on the lights in here too so I can show you. Shut my little curtains. Okay. Thanks. So here is what she looks like, all done. Vinyl bottom. Magnetic snap closure. We got our dual pockets over here. We have our zipper pocket over here. So again, if you missed the beginning, these are 4" by 4" blocks. They are sewn together with a 1/2" seam allowance. These are also 4" by 4" blocks, but this is sewn with a 1/4" seam allowance. So the blocks definitely look bigger on this bag because the seam allowance is smaller than these. But that is how you can make the Big B quilted bag. This one is sold. This one is available for sale. If you're interested, just send me an email. I'm back. Hi, Nikki. Okay, let's go ahead and do a room tour. Hold on, if you're squeamish, just like close your eyes for a second while I get this set up, and then I will tell you when to open them. Let me figure out how to flip this. All right, we listen and we do not judge. This is the hardware that I still have to figure out a space for. But let's start from, this is just a bathroom. My steps coming down. So here is my computer, printer, all the stuff that I work with. This is where all of my inventory is. So all of my bags are here. Wallets, passports, those are down there. You can't really see them. They're all in little tubs. This is my ironing board. I have to figure out what to do with all these cords. But here are my sewing machines. So here's my 5550-6, my 1181, and then here was my domestic sewing machine that I used to use. I haven't even opened that one. And then I have a little serger I haven't opened yet from the move. So let me just show you this little area. Boopity boop. So here are all the smaller items like my keychain wallets, mini zip-around wallets, regular wallets there, notebook holders, wallets, fanny packs. This is some other stuff I have to figure out where I'm going to put. This is my, it looks messy, but this is my press, my steam press. Those are my hardware presses. This is where my fabric and my interfacing is. So, for example, for the Kiana bag, I have interfacing pre-cut for the styles that I use most often, like the mini zip-around wallet. That way, whenever I need to do one of those items, I can usually just come here, pull out my interfacing. That's one less thing I have to worry about. This is where all of my vinyl is, my printed vinyl. I have to figure out what to do with that. That's just solid vinyl. This is printed vinyl. Here are my fabric shelves. So somebody was asking me if I still had my Hawaiian fabric. I do. It's folded up and put in here. Here's some more of it. This is more like animal prints. I try to keep everything relatively sectioned together, but I was going through all of this and I was like, man, I have all this like little onesie twosie yards. Let me see if I can make some quilted bags, which is where that came from. This is my bolted fabric. So this is the stuff that I usually use for a particular collection. I just use the same interior fabric. This is my cutting table. This is the interfacing that I use most often right here. And then I have scraps of them in these little bags. So for example, this is fusible fleece in this bag. This is like a 931 TD. This is my Peltex. So these are just like little scraps. If I need something little, I can just pull out of there. If I need to cut something else, I can just go to whichever one I use there. This is my vinyl rack, one of the best investments I've ever made. This is my little shoe rack. I use these shoe racks for so much stuff, like for my interfacing and then for this. So if I need like a wristlet strap, I can just go to my little scrap vinyl for the color and see if I have enough. So that way I don't have to pull one of those big rolls down. I can just go to my little scrap box. This is like my shipping slash. So I've got shipping supplies on the first two rows. I have my webbing for my crossbody bags on this row right here. I have zippers right here, zippers, and then of course more zippers. So in each one of these, I have the number 5, I have a number 3, and then I have the zipper pulls. and they're separated by color. You're more organized than me. You should sell your scraps on your website. Me, it was me. It's bigger than the last space. Yes, the last space I had to use 2 rooms, and this is all in my basement. Hey, Nikki. Is your husband in the service? Yes, that's why I moved, Nancy. He's in the Army. Thanks, Nina. I didn't even see you, Nina. So that's pretty much it. That is my sewing space. And then my little pups. Let me see if they'll come downstairs. Do you have blue paisley? I think so. Come here, puppers. There's Butters and Cookie. They made it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have blue paisley. I can't really go through all my fabric right now. It's really coming together. Yes. So there's still stuff that I have to figure out what to do with all of this stuff. This stuff. This fabric right here. And this hardware right here. And then this table. I don't know if I want to keep this table or if I want to put it in storage. Yay, Butter and Cookie. Okay, I'm going to run, you guys. I don't know when I'm going to be coming back on, but if you're in my Facebook group, I will definitely make a post like I did today before I jump live to let you guys know. I did get a lot done. It's been a long few weeks. I won't stress out. I'm just taking it one day at a time. Thanks, Just Mammy. All right, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. If you missed any part of this live, I'm going to upload it on my YouTube later. Can you adopt me? Bye. It was good seeing you guys. I will see you later.